Manchester City saw Gabriel Jesus' last-gasp goal ruled out by VAR following a handball in the build-up, meaning Tottenham came away from the home of the champions with a point, despite having been dominated throughout and having to come from behind twice against Pep Guardiola's City side. Guardiola lined City up in their familiar 4-3-3 formation when in possession. Fullbacks Kyle Walker and Alexander Zinchenko started narrow and played from in to out, looking to burst into wide areas. Rodri operated as the single pivot. Mauricio Pochettino set Spurs up in a 4-4-1-1 formation when defending. Christian Eriksen and Moussa Sissoko would fall back alongside Harry Winks and Tanguy Ndombele to form a bank of four in midfield, while Erik Lamela was tasked with dropping in to mark Rodri. In possession, Spurs took up a 4-2-3-1 formation. Fullbacks Danny Rose and Kyle Walker-Peters provided width, but would not advance too high up the pitch against dangerous opposition, instead taking safer starting positions so as to be able to recover on a City turnover. Sissoko, Lamela and Eriksen were expected to join lone striker Harry Kane from midfield. City retained their 4-3-3 formation in defence, but would press high immediately after losing possession. The advanced midfielders would be on the front foot and press quickly, with Kevin De Bruyne releasing himself to partner Aguero in the press, making the high press shape into a 4-4-2, or at times a 4-2-4. City looked to create overload in wide areas, particularly on the left through Zinchenko, who would play from in to out and try and join Sterling in the attacks, with Walker trusted to drop in and play as a centre-back in a 3, with Nicolas Otamendi and Aymeric Laporte. Ilkay Gundogan and De Bruyne, playing high and making forward runs, occupied Tottenham's midfielders, allowing City's wide players to receive the ball under little pressure. Tottenham started off defending very deep, allowing City to come onto them. With City's high press working well, Tottenham found themselves unable to play out from the back and were penned inside their own half for long periods as City retained good possession in high areas. Kane often lacked support and was isolated, and without outright pace, he was unable to make runs in behind Man City's defence for Tottenham to counter. City's pressure and quality caused problems for the visitors' defence, and after having an early penalty appeal turned down, the champions found a way through in the 20th minute when Bernardo Silva fed De Bruyne, who hit a perfect cross into a dangerous area. Walker-Peters was slightly narrow, and his poor body position meant he was unable to see either the ball or Sterling's run as the forward came from a wide area to head home. Just 3 minutes later, Tottenham grabbed an equaliser against the run of play. Lamela broke City's midfield line and ran off the shoulder of Gundogan. Ederson's positioning in the goal was too far to the left, and Lamela's seemingly innocuous effort ended up in the back of the net. Despite the scores being level, City were dominant and Spurs had little attacking outlet. City continued to press high and use tactical fouls to break any counter-attacks Tottenham attempted. 10 minutes before half-time, Guardiola's team were back in front. City created an overload, this time down the right, with Walker, Bernardo Silva and De Bruyne working in a triangle to cut through Spurs' defence before De Bruyne provided another superb cross for Sergio Aguero, who had got ahead of his man, to finish expertly. On 56 minutes, with City looking dangerous and Kane isolated, Pochettino turned to his bench and brought Lucas Moura on for Winks. 19 seconds later, Moura headed home the equaliser from a corner. City set up with a mix of zonal and man marking, with Walker, Laporte and Otamendi operating zonally on the 6-yard line within the width of the goal. Without releasing a zonal marker to match up with Tottenham's attackers, Gundogan and Bernardo Silva were left outnumbered by Kane, Toby Alderweireld and Moura, and the Brazilian was allowed to break free and win the header. Pochettino's switch made Tottenham more positive. With Kane dropping into the hole, Moura stayed high, giving Spurs a new dimension in attack. Moura played on the shoulder of the centre-backs and looked to run in behind using his pace in what now looked more like a 4-4-2 formation in attack. Pochettino repeatedly tweaked his setup, and after initially deploying Moura centrally, brought the Brazilian out to the right wing to deal with the threat of Sterling's pace. Guardiola sent on Jesus, David Silva and Riyad Mahrez as City went in search for a winner. With the score at 2-2, the home team, driven on by the brilliant De Bruyne, controlled play, remaining patient in attack, and thought they'd won the game through Jesus' stoppage-time strike, only to see the goal disallowed. The champions dominated the tie, registering 30 shots and limiting Tottenham to just 3, but Pochettino's men were able to hold out until the full-time whistle. Both Manchester City and Tottenham ended the day with 4 points from 2 games, but Spurs were the happier side after taking a point from the champions and scoring with their only 2 shots on target. Pep Guardiola was eager to praise his team's performance after the game. The way we played was incredible. I am so proud. The amount of shots we had was great. They crossed the halfway line maybe 4 or 5 times in 90 minutes, so we defended well. Goals from corners happen when you have good takers and good headers, but of course we will work on defending them. Mauricio Pochettino also struck a positive note. I'm very pleased with a point, but also knowing we need to improve. We are in a process where we need to improve in all areas, and the team is going to improve step by step, but we need time. It was an unbelievable goal by Lucas Moura. Always when you play a team like Manchester City, you have to be at your best.